You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to the Art of Chef. I'm your host, Chef Yuki. Today, my special guest, Shannon Maas, Coach Maas.
Coach Maas, thank you. That's a great little intro tune. That's great.
Thank you. I'm gonna actually get a professional friend to do a little recording. This is the stock music.
I like the bass. It sounds pretty good. I like it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So, Coach Maas, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, crowd.
For our live audience today.
Thank you.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. We just had a great lunch at what's it called?
Himamari.
Himamari.
Yeah.
Had the deluxe tonkatsu ramen.
Yeah.
Delicious. Feeling great, man.
Yeah,
just living life.
Thank you for showing up onto the pod kind of last minute. I kind of like
absolutely, man. Anything for you, man. Anything for Yuki.
Because I have these crazy ideas about making things, and I'm just glad that you're here to explore the opportunity. So Shannon and I met him on Instagram, right?
That's right.
Last year when I was really into doing the Insta thing, and I met him by sheer confrontation. Now, if you see smoke out of our breath, is because it's cold up in here. So what I did was that I tagged Shasta Wasabi on some wasabi that was not Shasta Wasabi. And that's Shannon's right. Like, hey, what the fuck, bro? Where you got your shit? Because I know you didn't get my shit, because everybody get my shit from me. Through his hands. Like, I was like, oh, snap, yo, I better be make friends with him. Like, I was like, oh, thanks for calling me out. No, that's not your wasabi, but I would only imagine fresh wasabi. You're the closest one, right? I was thinking they weren't naming the farm, right? Maybe it could have been yours, because I didn't know about Half Moon Bay at all.
Wait. So
I bought my wasabi from Nijia.
Okay,
right?
That's right.
And then I was like, well, the closest wasabi would be Shasta, because the next thing I would think would be Japan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's when I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay, Shasta Wasabi. That's California.
Yeah. And I was like, that's local. And I was like, that's actually not ours.
Right. Exactly. And then so that's when you told me that there's this Half Moon Bay thing. Right?
Half Moon Bay Wasabi.
And then that's when I was like, yo, but okay, well, let me get my hands on your shit. Right.
Yeah, I think that
was dope.
I think I saw you had some of that, and then I was like, hey, that stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
Why don't you try some of this?
Yes.
Because there's a difference in the type of wasabi that you get.
Yeah.
Even obviously, you have the fake stuff that you get in the sushi restaurants, like in a little packet.
Yes.
Right. That's not even. There's like 0% wasabi in that. Like
that's
nothing.
Horseradish and green food color.
And if it's really cheap, like Safeway, then they're gonna put in like dextrose. They're gonna put in all kinds of like synthetic ingredients to kind of mimic. Wasabi has kind of a two-prong kind of. You have the sweetness, which is kind of the first thing if you're grinding the real stuff. That's gonna be the first thing that you taste, and then you're gonna get the pungency, and it's different than the spice you'd get like in a pepper, which is capsaicin. That's
right. It's like a no-sear.
Yeah. So in fact, the heat from wasabi is actually interacting entirely with the nasal passageways.
No, that's why you eat it. You're like,
so it's not a tongue spice. Yeah, it's going straight. It's a vapor that goes straight up into your sinuses, and then through into your brain. So it's a very potent, a potent thing. Yeah. If you're getting the real thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I saw you that you had, and I was like, hey man, so try that, and then I want you to try some of our stuff, and then. Let me know if you think there's a difference.
Right, and there's a big difference. So then he came down, like he showed up with some wasabi, like in his wasabi sweatshirt, like in his I was like, oh shit, bro, that's Shasta Wasabi. Like that's famous guy. You know, like I was like, you know, he has thousands of followers, and I was like, this guy is actually giving me a little time of the day, like, because you know, the Instagram and social media can be like a jungle out there. You know, people really don't give a fuck.
I'm not too familiar with it,
and they don't get back to you usually. So like, I guess. It's good that we're two old souls up on there using it, like, you know, just
so honestly for me it's been like, you know, social media has been great.
Because like a lot of people know
you know, if there's a lot of like niche farmers, you know, from Pennsylvania, from Washington, you know, that kind of have an interest in very niche types of ingredients. Like personally, I don't give a shit about kale or, you know, kind of the normal tomatoes. Like I just don't have an interest in growing those kind of things.
You're into the high quality ingredients.
Yeah, well, not even just that. Like things that are really highly medicinal, or things that are like things that you can kind of grow perennially that become part of your ecosystem. Like to me, that's you know, I find that pretty fascinating.
Yeah, because you do a lot. You do a lot of things. Like I refer you as Coach Maas because you're a track coach for many years at what is it, SFC, and you're also a Hall of Fame track runner yourself. Can you tell our friends?
Hall of Fame, I forgot you knew that.
Coach Maas,
the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so I grew up in a tiny town called Weed. It's probably about 50 miles from the Oregon border.
Okay, in California.
Weed, California. You know, from preschool, pretty much. Like, you know, those are the kids. That's your group. So you have that same group all the way from preschool all the way until, you know, high school. And we had 42 people in my high school. Okay. So it's really small.
Okay.
And you know, and my dad was a football coach. I was just around athletics. And you know, I was very small. Like I was very undersized.
Well, no, you're not that small anymore.
That's, you know, you can finally hit that. I was 5'2", 95 pounds as a freshman.
Dang.
In high school, so I was like tiny.
Featherweight.
I was tiny. So, I just got, you know, played, you know, all the sports. Right. You know, football, you're playing every position.
Oh, I bet, because that's
offense,
coach.
Defense, right? And football was my least favorite, just because I was small, and it's really physical.
Right.
Football's a tough. It's crazy.
People want to tag you.
And they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So
when
especially in the 90s, like you know,
there was no head to head.
Yeah, we didn't wear like the pink ribbons, and you know, I mean, you're like trying to paralyze people. Right? So it was like serious. It was a serious. It was a serious.
It was a problem.
And like I said, our town was a really small port town, and our equipment was from like the, you know, like the 70s, 80s.
Oh wow, okay.
So it was anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I got selected for track and field for all the sports. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So, Weed High School. God bless you, baby. I love it. Seriously, I love that place.
Yeah, no, that's great.
It's a great place. Yeah.
And your farm is up Shasta in that area, right?
It's actually in the city limits of Weed.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. And it's on your property. It runs on a river, right? How many plants are you doing? Like, so you got to tell me about this wasabi thing, because I don't think it's something that you grew up and be like, yo, you know, I grow weed, you know, I just really want to do this wasabi thing, you know, just.
Yeah. That's a great question. So probably the spring of 2019, and I found wasabi on YouTube, and it was a YouTube video called Begin Japanology with Peter Barrican.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like Japanology. So it's you know, like niche cultural things from Japan.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's translated for foreign audiences, for English audiences. Yeah. And he had a whole special on like natural, what they call sawa, which is like grown in flowing water, wasabi. And so I'm watching this video and I was like, man, this is kind of great. Like there's a lot of similarities.
Right.
You know, it's a high elevation plant. You know, it needs really cold water, has to be spring water.
And you have the best cold spring water in Shasta.
You know, so I'm hearing this and I'm like, man, this is kind of like So we use that water in our house to water the grass. Like I wonder if we could use it, for something
right.
a little
Instead
different.
Of weed.
It's very special. Like our property it's right off I-5, and it's they call it the knoll, like a small hill, and that whole hill just bleeds water.
That's amazing. Yeah,
so it's like the end of a lava tube. Oh. Yeah, so you have all these lava tubes, right that go underneath the mountain, and this is it's like a collection point for like a series of these tubes, and so I mean the entire thing is just like probably like 500 years ago the entire thing was probably just covered in water, so it's like now it's just leaching water. Some are coming out as like creeks and springs.
Wow.
And so I saw the YouTube video, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And I bought 3 plants from Oregon Coast.
Okay. So this is just like this is like a wasabi dealer.
Yeah, this is the fall of 2019. So the fall before COVID.
3 plants.
3 plants, and I was just kind of like, let me just kind of see. And I remember they were tiny. They're just like, they weren't. They weren't the biggest plants.
I mean, just if we can only think of those 3 plants right now, and you can close your eyes and look at the plants you have now.
Tiny, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think
can you find the original?
Well, those plants were offshoots.
Oh, okay.
So that means they grow off the main meristem.
Okay.
And those kinds of offshoots, I'd probably just throw away. Like I wouldn't sell them to someone.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we bought them, and we didn't know any
gypped.
better. I don't know if we got jibbed. It's just kind of it's just what they're selling. And so we planted them, and we planted them in soil called hatake.
Oh, in soil.
Yeah, like in a pot, like just in a garden pot.
Oh, okay.
And so that was kind of the first. Just learn the plant is October is kind of cold. And
not the most ideal to start a plant.
Yeah, so my plan was to get those plants, keep them alive
for the next
year, and then in the spring I was going to put those in the creek, just to kind of see if if our creek water, our spring water would work.
Right.
And so, they're doing okay. They're just kind of hanging on, and then COVID.
Right. COVID.
And so, I was going to do those 3 plants plus like 20 more plants. And then COVID happened, and I left San Francisco and I went up to Mount Shasta. And then 20 plants. I was like, man, I got the COVID stimulus check.
Okay.
So
See,
coaches don't get paid much.
Something good happens with
from
the COVID checks.
Yes. It does happen.
Yeah.
So I got the
investment in COVID checks. Yeah,
this is one of those good stories.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So anyway, I took the money, and instead of 20 plants, I ended up doing 1,000 plants. And so I didn't really.
When you say level up, I was thinking like you go 20 plants to like 200. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. This is cat went from 20 to 1,000. Okay.
Plants. So.
Okay.
And I honestly, I kind of did that like. It was way more than because at that point I'd kind of dug like a little patch.
What did you get, like a deal or something? Like they're like, hey,
it wasn't kind of a deal.
You
it was
buy
kind
50,
of like,
I'll give you 1,000.
It was kind of one of those kind of things. Like I needed an investment that was going to make me uncomfortable.
That's hugely uncomfortable. 1,000 wasabi plants. That's a huge thing.
And I was like, so.
Would you mind sharing how much?
If
that
I
costs,
invest the money,
like
I was paying about $2.50, $3 a plant. So probably about.
Oh fuck! You invest money,
yeah. It was a pretty good. It was a big roll of the dice, man. I mean, this is.
I love it. I love it. No, that's great.
I had a premonition.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, let's.
You know what? It's an investment of what's coming. So that's what when it's a big investment like that, money. I love that. I love that when it's a big investment like that.
And I was like, hey, I can take this and invest in something. Just, bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, man, let me see if I can take this thing.
In this creek that I go out there and just look at.
So the first creek that I had, or the first one is it's we have a series of ponds, and I just took the spillway. So like, where the water comes out of the pond. And it just kind of meanders through our property into like a meadow, and it just kind of bleeds off into like some cottonwood and some willows, and then into like kind of the main part of the spring, which is the start of the Black Butte Spring Complex, which eventually goes into Bowles Creek.
Okay.
Then eventually the Shasta River. This is all like really like, local kind of like area stuff.
Easy.
Right? Yeah. Easy.
It's your first time going on the pod.
The podcast, yeah.
The first time people meeting you, you don't want to show them all your treasure maps.
All the treasure maps, yeah. So anyway, so I've took the little the creek, and I just
you built the damn thing.
But I did a lot of research. I mean, this is after like months of YouTube videos, and I was reading research papers from like New Zealand.
Your shit's legit, and the wasabi is fucking delicious. It's amazing. The flavor, just the sweetness. It's the water, bro. Like it really.
That's how honest. I have very little to do with it,
which is great because you and that and that's what nature does. They found the people that's around the most beautiful things, and they allow them to find things that they can use it to flourish in. You're using the wasabi to feature the Shasta water, which is one that I think is one of the national treasure for us in California for sure. Just a spring for America, good clean water. It's hard to get,
And this is the time that it takes. The water to form is like snow on top of the mountain, and then filter through the it's a stratovolcano. So it's it's an active volcano, and it's 14,172 feet. So I mean it's tall, and it's a highly active one. So there's actually, if you ever pass it on I-5, there's two. You have the Shasta Peak, and then there's one that's a crater that's called Shastina, and that one actually exploded probably like 400 something years ago. So that one used to be taller.
Oh, okay.
And so in Native American mythology, it's kind of like it was the big brother and the little sister of the little brother. So that was kind of how it was, because you can see it. I mean, if you're driving, on I-5, you can see it from probably about Willows. I mean, that's 180 miles away. And especially in the wintertime, like it's clear. And it's just a white beacon, so you can see it from just a massive. On a clear day, you could probably see from almost Sacramento. So it's just a beacon, and it's just all that water flows through the volcano, and it takes, depending on the length. So they call it a recharge. That's where the kind of the water sinks into the mountain, and then it just kind of filters through the mountain, and where it comes out as a spring, they call it a discharge. So the further the distance,
Did you just say discharge?
Yeah, I did. Jesus,
grow up, guys, grow up.
So hopefully that grow up. So the discharge. So the further the distance, recharge to the discharge, the more minerals and the more the water can accumulate in terms of like complexity. And density and all that kind of stuff.
So this cat is a bucket of knowledge on Shasta water, on Shasta Wasabi. He also has a mycology, he's, and that's a whole other pod we can talk. And then, so he has, there's a lot of, we can't cover all of it in one time. I think this is a good time to get a segue. Now, please share how can they find you? Maybe your social media or whatever you can share. You want to let them know?
Yeah. So right now it's kind of gone from that experiment to, I just had my first harvest. Sold to a bunch of Michelin-starred restaurants.
Oh, which ones? Can you name them? Maybe I can go visit.
Yeah. So one just actually got their first Michelin star, which is Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice is great. Yeah.
So they got the young chef.
Yeah.
David, he'd be actually great for the show. David Yoshimura, I think.
Yeah, I would. Hey, if you can introduce me, I would love to. I can bring the kit over there. We can do a pot.
He'd be great. He'd be great.
Yeah.
Young guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
They used to get veggie from Hikari Farms.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what happened there. But okay. So what? Any other?
Yeah. I've that's one of them. Then there's kusakabe.
Okay, kusakabe.
Kusakabe is it's one of the oldest omakase. Like the chef's choice.
Okay. Where
sushi places in the city.
Okay.
I think it's probably from like the.
It's like
maybe
beyond,
the 90s. Maybe
like
they
beyond my scale. Like this is like upscale.
It's pretty
shit.
nice. So the what's the Transamerica building, like the pyramid?
Yeah.
It's like right
by like Chinatown.
It's on Washington Street. It's right on the foot of the that thing.
Okay.
And then the third one is Robin.
What, Robin?
Robin.
Okay.
Which is another omakase.
Oh, wow.
Like high-end omakase.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Can I just go eat with you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I'll bring Fred. My boss would love it. Like these are like places that you have to make. Like you can't just walk in. Like you have to make reservations.
Yeah, these are kind of places.
You can't just walk in. I can't just walk in.
Yeah, so I went to Nice with our friends Kevin and Elena from Shared Cultures. Shout out.
Oh yeah, Shared Cultures. Yeah. Oh, they're the huge Insta as well. Oh man, these are famous people.
Doing really good misos and
I had him come down to the farmer markets. That he did the market with us.
How'd that go? Yeah, I actually remember that. Was that good?
It was great. Yeah. I think my market might be a little small for them, but they're big time.
Yeah, they're going. They're exploding fast because they do things just right.
Right.
They do them traditionally. Yeah. They do them kind of like the slow ferments.
Yeah.
And all that kind of
that's
stuff.
Great. Yeah.
So
I love that. They should. That's another group of people we can have on.
Oh, they'd be great.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Gondo, who's in Shared Cultures, I think he went to high school with David Yoshimura. From Nice.
Hey, see all the little connect. It's good. It's nice like that. Okay?
Yeah. So anyway, we went to Nice with Kevin and Elena, and that was probably the first time I've actually had kind of like the, where it's like the one bite.
Yeah.
More than like $50.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Like super high.
Putting a Benjamin in your mouth kind of thing.
Yeah. Like you could just kind of tell, like it's kind of special.
Yeah.
Like every ingredient you can tell is just like, dialed in, like very special.
Yeah.
And it was the best meal of my life. Yeah. And, but it wasn't cheap.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? Like but you know what you're paying. You know what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And for them to first off even find me, and then second off even trust me enough.
Yeah.
And then third off to continue to use the product.
Yes.
Was validation that what I was all this crazy idea that I was doing was working.
This is The Artist Chef. I'm your host, Chefyukei, featuring Coach Maas. Shasta Wasabi. Check him out in Instagram.
Instagram is going to be Shasta_Wasabi.
And then any other place they can find you?
I got a Facebook. That's going to be Shasta Wasabi. And kind of a TikTok. I'm kind of new to all the social media stuff. I'm just doing the best I can with Instagram.
Cool.
That's the main spot.
What do you think?